watch that. We were also lucky enough to have the entire game from Zoe's dad, Mr. Candy. He's the one who put these together literally in like 24 hours. So the coaches and myself are just ecstatic. I can't tell you what a wonderful feeling this is. Probably the best coaching experience I've ever had. So first of all, I just want to thank Mr. Menner, Mrs. Hubert, and Ms. Kratos for all of your dedication and all the time, the effort that you put into all of the sports here. It's very much appreciated. I'd second like to thank the parents for traveling to the games, for traveling up to Vermont, bringing your daughters up there. We had a fabulous time, so I thank you for your dedication there. And of course, I have to thank Jason and Molly, who had mother's guilt, so she drove up to see her oldest daughter play at Gordon College today because she said, you know, she's been with Maeve so much that her other daughter is starting to feel like she doesn't belong with the family. But I have to say thank you. Without them, the team could not have done what we did. And I kept saying, Molly was the yin to my yin, and Jason is the yang to my yin. So we were just a perfect mesh together. So, to the girls. And so we meet again, but this time, knowing that we have gone as far as we can go and in perfect fashion. Do you know how hard it is to not only win your conference, but also the states and regionals, and to do it without a loss? There have only been 9 women's teams in NCAA history with a perfect record. And our beloved Yukon Huskies own 6 of these titles, with my sister Steve being the first one. But she's not here today. And this is an ad-lib, but I do have to tell you, when we won, she was at the Final Four because she was doing the game, and I texted her and I said, we just won, and she was thrilled. And I said, can you give us a shout out at the game tonight? And she did text back saying, if this was any other game during the season, I absolutely would. And she said, but for the national championship game, she's like, I can't. I was like, all right. So, I want to simply say to each and every one of you young ladies that I have enjoyed this season immensely, and you have shown me why I love basketball so much. Your passion, your silliness, your smiles, your intelligence, and your TikTok videos are just a few of the things that I admire about you the most. Each one of you girls holds a special place on this team, and that goes without question. From Maggie's body flops in practice every single week. Magalicious, that's what I call her, Magalicious. To wondering what color socks Skylar was going to wear. From Elise's intense man-to-man defense to Maeve Malloy's 5 minutes for fighting defense. From Angie's infectious loud laugh to betting on what shoes Ari may or may not have brought to practice. Wondering what flavor of gum Ryan would have for me, to watching Lou have to play defense against her sister in practice. And deciding on what days to even have practice so I could accommodate Zoe and Kenna and Maeve's travel practices and games. You think I went last tonight because we're 22 and 0? No, it's because I had to wait for Maeve to come from FSA because she had soccer. As you can see, each one of you is the perfect piece in this perfect puzzle that we called team. I call us family. So before I get into my awards, I want to just hand out the certificates for those girls that are here. About half of my team is missing, and I think it's because we all stayed in the same hotel, and a lot of us are sick now. So first, would Maeve Staunton please come up? Zoe Canning. Ryan Bradley. Skylar Bacon. Maeve Malloy. And Magalicious. Award. The Coaches Award this year goes to a player who every coach dreams of having on their team. She is smart, patient, listens when spoken to, and boy, does she show her intensity when you ruffle her feathers. You probably saw it in one of the clips in that video. This player had a season high of 25 points versus St. Mary's of Milford in the state semifinals. She finished the season with a total of 272 points in our 22-0 season, and this year's Coaches Award, without a doubt, goes to Zoe Canning. The Most Improved Award was the hardest one for me this season to pick out, but when I looked back at her progress, it was an easy decision to make. This young lady came to practice and worked hard every week as well as in each game. She would often pull me aside and ask me questions or even ask if I could write the plays down for her so she could memorize them. It wasn't until we were preparing for the deanery playoffs where I saw this young lady's fire burning through her eyes. She became one of our most intensive offensive rebounders and pulled down more rebounds in the state final game and regional final game than almost anyone else. The charge that she took in the final game versus St. John's was a pivotal point in our offense and set the mood for the final few minutes of play. This year's Most Improved Player goes to Ariana Rosetta. Ari is home sick. Not COVID, yeah, not COVID. And finally, our most valuable player. It is no secret who this player is going to be. This player was the leading scorer in almost every game we played. Her highest total this season was 39 points versus Corpus Christi. Her season point total was 429 overall points in 22 games. That's an average of 19.5 points per game. I would bet that if we had a full 6th and 7th grade season, this player would have certainly passed the 1,000-point threshold here at St. Tim's. It's unbelievable at any level, but especially for a middle schooler. On at least 3 occasions this season, I had 3 separate officials come up to me after the game and say, "That number 5 is a pleasure to watch, wow. And where's that number 5 going to high school?" I even had one official say to me, "She is good enough to start on some of the high school teams that I have been officiating this season." The only thing that this player needs to work on is her smile. Her poker face is just too permanent. This year's MVP goes to Maeve Staunton.